I was the one that reported 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site.
So hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. How are you guys doing? So the internet is literally coming for this white lady for reporting the Hyundai plant workers in Savannah, Georgia, right? People were like, she's trying to play like the white savior because she came out on these internet streets and she was trying to explain the fact why she reported them, because she felt they were underpaid, they were going through, extreme hard labor, like a modern kind of slave trade to her, and she wanted them to be rescued, and that was why she called the eyes on them. And people were like, you wanted them to be rescued, but you called eyes on them. And you know what happens once you call eyes on such people, right? So people were just not happy about the whole situation. Everyone was calling her out and saying all kinds of stuff, and she still came out to want to try to defend herself. So guys, keep watching and let me know what you think in the comments.
Did you guys see the video of that woman from Georgia who says she's the one that reported the Hyundai workers to ICE, and she fancies herself a hero, saving them all from the human trafficking they were experiencing, these horrible working conditions, these low wages, this lack of housing. She thinks she's the hero in this story, saving them from this. And of course she blames Biden. I do not understand the minds of conservatives. They see victims of human trafficking in this story, and their solution to the problem is to first blame Biden, and second, arrest the victims. I just don't understand them. So let me show you. So this is the Trafficking Victims Protection Act. It's a federal law. It prosecutes employers, not the victims. And it prohibits them from having forced labor, basically. There's criminal charges, fines, prison sentences, and then victims can sue for civil damages. Who do you want to bet voted against this? Who do you want to bet? Who do you want to bet that prevents victims from suing their employers? Who prevents victims from getting compensated fairly? Who prevents victims from having fair housing? Who do you want to bet are the politicians that prevent these victims from getting what's due to them? Because what they want to do instead is arrest the victims.
I was the one that reported 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site.
This message is for the Karen who thought reporting Hyundai subcontractors to ICE was helping. So let's unpack the damage you created. So ICE, if those don't know, raided Hyundai's $7.6 billion battery plant site in Georgia, detaining 475 subcontractors. So these were not Hyundai employees, but the very workers building and training for America's clean energy future. And so here's the fallout. South Korea issued a statement of concern and regret and announced they're sending their own planes to retrieve their citizens because they do not trust the U.S. government to do the right thing, fearing that their workers might just disappear. Another creator actually nailed it on the head. These subcontractors weren't just building, they were training Americans in specialized high-tech work. So now that pipeline of knowledge is gone, and with it, billions in potential. So let's be clear. Racism is costing the United States, and especially the state of Georgia, millions, if not billions. And the politicians cheering this raid on, some are even running for Senate in Georgia, including that Karen. So this isn't protecting anyone. It's self-sabotage. And while all this is happening, as a reminder, Marvel Studios is also pulling out of Atlanta. They're moving their productions to the UK with more than 20,000 jobs. Global industries are watching, and they do not want to invest in instability. Georgia is bleeding jobs, global trust, and economic stability, and so is the rest of the United States. Racism isn't just about hate, it's about the price tag that we all have to pay.
Yesterday near Savannah.
I can just imagine how that phone call went. You said, hey, I have a tip for the Hyundai in Savannah. And they were like, where? And you're like, the Hyundai. And then they were like, is that a hotel? Like, what is that, ma'am? And then you're like, Hyundai. And they're like, can you spell it for me? And that's how they got there. Because you are so intellectually lazy, you don't even know what the company's called. But anyways, I have a question. Have they picked you yet? Did you get an award or something? Oh, what am I even thinking? I keep forgetting that they reward for racist people like you, people who are so empty inside, people who really offer nothing to society, is just to see other people suffer. Your reward was really just knowing and going to sleep at night, knowing well that those people are probably going to be sent to countries where they've never been. You're probably said that Alligator Alcatraz is now closed and they're not gonna go there. And you try to double down on another video where you thought you ate, and you're like, oh, people who are upset about this don't pay taxes. I am an immigrant and I have paid collectively over $500,000 in taxes in the last 5 years. That's more money than you ever see in your whole life, and I stole your job. And I eat dogs and cats. Actually, I didn't steal your job because you would never.
So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country. They give money to their handler. They have hardly anything left. They live in homes 5 families deep, have no quality of life. It's modern day slavery. So if you think that ICE is just going in and ripping people out of their jobs, these hardworking people that want a better life, well, guess what? Politicians have really screwed these people, because when they came here, they thought they were, hey, the border's open, we're coming in, we're going to get the 5-star treatment, and we can go to the big Walmart, and we can live in a 5-star hotel, and that's just not how it is. It's very bad conditions, very inhumane, and the Biden administration started a humanitarian crisis. So y'all can't just look at it like they're ripping good people off the job. So there were 452 illegals apprehended at the Hyundai mega plant construction site yesterday near Savannah. And I was the one that reported the information that I had to ICE. But it goes beyond just someone working illegally. Let me explain to you. These people are working for slave wages. Some are not getting paid. Some are being trafficked. They send money home to their country.
You didn't save them anything. You got 475 people arrested and thrown into detention. You made their lives infinitely worse. Before I continue, if any of this matters to you, like and follow. Let's call this what it is. It's a textbook white savior complex. You talk about modern day slavery because it lets you play the hero. But if you actually care about exploitation, you know that actions like yours never punish the people at the top. Hyundai made it very clear. None of the detained workers were their direct employees. They were all hired through subcontractors. So when you call ICE, you didn't get the multi-billion-dollar corporation in trouble. You got their victims punished. You targeted the people trying to find a better job than they could get back home. Why not go after the companies that profit from this system? Because that's hard work. Calling ICE on the vulnerable, it's easy. You claim you were saving them. Saving them from what? A bad job? Now thanks to you, they're in an ICE detention facility facing deportation. You didn't end their exploitation. You just made the US government final exploiter. You aren't a hero. You're just a tool that powerful people use to clean up their messes. Let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share.
The way these people were being treated is what matters. I didn't know a damn thing about the Koreans. That wasn't my dish, and obviously that's being investigated because they had work visas that had expired.
First of all, Tori, you look like the love child of Kate Gosselin and Mama June. Second, you should see what the President of the United States has to say about this, because he's walking this back as well.
It's a battery factory in that case, as I'm told. And when they're building batteries, if you don't have people in this country right now that know about batteries, maybe we should help them along and let some people come in and train our people.
Because Hyundai, pronounced like Sunday, not Hyundai like you're saying, is a Korean company. So it makes sense in this instance that Hyundai would send Korean nationals over to train people as those factories are being built. And I notice you have your comments turned off in your most recent video, so it sounds like someone can't take the heat. Because you potentially royally screwed up the Georgia economy. You're risking potentially up to 8,500 jobs. And you said that you didn't know that there were Korean workers there, which means that you probably didn't know anything at all. Because if it's already difficult for you to pronounce Hyundai, then, I'm assuming that a lot of other things are probably difficult for you too. But anyways, have the day you deserve.
A woman who just went online bragging about being the reason 475 people were just arrested. It didn't go the way that you thought, did it? Because the way that you were so happy to share with the world voluntarily that you were the one that contacted ICE, that got that Hyundai plant that was in the middle of being constructed, completely shut down. And over 400 people arrested, most of them being Koreans, which you seemed kind of confused about until you realized that Hyundai is owned by Koreans, and that the reason they had so many people from other countries here was because they knew they were going to have to train Americans to do this job, because all of their instructions from Korea were in Korean. So they got approval to send people here to the United States to construct their massive facility in the way that you were like, now look, there's over 475 jobs that are now going to be available for people in Georgia because they weren't giving these jobs to Georgians. That's right, they couldn't give these jobs to people in Georgia because none of them spoke the language. In her narrative of bringing 475 jobs to people in Georgia are making the world laugh, because anyone who understands that they were just constructing this facility, this was going to be a facility that would have given nearly 9,000 jobs to people in Georgia. She had zero concept of that. All she saw were people from other countries in her state, specifically in her town, and it upset her so much that she contacted ICE and said that she was doing it because they had unsafe working environments and they weren't getting paid enough. So she contacted ICE. Because of her fight for the people of Georgia, they have lost all of their people who were going to train them for the jobs that this facility would have brought. The owners of this facility, the investors, the people paying for it and bringing all of these jobs into the state of Georgia are now threatening to can it all. That's right, they are going to shut down this construction site and they are not going to continue building their facility that would have brought almost 9,000 jobs to her state. Would have not known any of this had she not come online and bragged about it. Oh, and she's also running for Congress.
Hyundai? Yeah, so you dense, dumb, and stupid. For you to sit up here and admit that you called ICE, causing a raid for Hyundai to lose over $1 billion, stop operation, and prevent a whole bunch of people of getting new jobs. You are so proud of yourself that you are responsible for almost 500 people getting deported that were sent here to bring jobs to Georgia. It was your blatant racism, but you're trying to justify it saying that it was slave labor and that they were getting paid a low wage. Ma'am, you don't care about those people. You do not care about those people. You did not want these people in your country. And you're so slow that you did not understand why they were over here, you numb nut. I'm trying to calm down, but I get so tired of you people. Yeah, you people, you know the terminology y'all like to use. I'm so tired of y'all with this savior complex, thinking that y'all have to be the hero in every scenario with a situation that has nothing to do with you. And I just got to get this off of my chest. May the odds never be in your favor. I hope every time you get up in the middle of the night, you hit your pinky toe on the side of the bed. I hope bed bugs eat your ass up every night. And yeah, that Congress seat that you think that you have in the bag that you're going to win, may you lose it. May you have the life you absolutely deserve.
Here's how Korea is reacting to the ICE raids at the Hyundai battery plant in Georgia.
We need construction to cease immediately.
And this raid is the largest single-site operation that DHS has conducted in history. Of the over 450 people arrested right now, around 300 of them are Korean nationals. And this has come as quite a shock to South Korea right now, because Koreans are usually not the target of ICE raids. A Korean newspaper even had this cartoon right here where they are depicting Trump as a sort of a bully. It starts off by saying that the US was begging Korea for more investments, and now they're arresting hundreds of South Koreans on a business trip. Literally just last month, South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung met with President Trump, and they reaffirmed their alliance as well as business relationships. The US has been pressuring South Korea to invest billions of dollars into the American industry, and they were ramping up this pressure in the past few months. Korea recently agreed to a $350 billion investment into the American economy. And part of that investment was this Hyundai LG factory that was set to open next year. This facility was going to be Georgia's biggest industrial investment in the state's history, and it was supposed to help boost the state's economy. Officials are saying that a lot of these employees were actually South Korean nationals there on a temporary visa for a business trip who have been sent to help finish building electric car battery factories. First of all, South Korea's foreign ministry came out immediately to say that they are expressing concern and regret over Washington's decision to do this, and that this will send a chilling effect to the US in terms of business. I mean, President Trump has vowed to arrest the worst of the worst criminals with ICE raids, so I think Korea is shocked that this happened at one of their biggest factories in the US. I mean, the US is coming out and saying that they did this raid because they think the employees are there illegally or have overstayed their visas, and investigations are still currently ongoing. Now, LG is ordering all of its employees that are on business trips in the US to immediately return to Korea, and they're going to reconsider sending anyone else on business trips to the US right now.
Did you see this raid at the Hyundai construction site? Well, this woman is allegedly responsible for the raid. Listen to what she had to say.
So there were 452 illegals, and I was the one that reported.
So this is Tori Branum, a Republican candidate for Georgia's 12th Congressional District, who as a politician should have thought about how shutting down the single biggest economic investment made by a company in Georgia's history would affect her constituents. This was confirmed by Rolling Stone, and according to the report, Tori recruited a Spanish-speaking union worker who had access to the site to become her informant. After hearing rumors of the construction site using undocumented labor and 3 worker deaths at the site. Ironically, the other workers trusted this union worker because he had previously helped them win lawsuits against unsafe work conditions. So Tori took the rumors and the information from the informants and gave it to authorities. Authorities did say that this was a part of a months-long investigation with multiple agencies, but did not mention that this was started by Tori. When I first saw her video, I knew that she had no actual sympathy for the workers. Because if she did, she would have found a way to hold the corporation accountable and not send the Gestapo goon after the workers.
The biggest crock of shit I've heard so far since the Hyundai plant in Elabella, Georgia was raided was that the Koreans and the illegals will do jobs that Americans can't do or won't do. Well, that
This lady is the lady that called ICE on a Hyundai facility. And she thinks she's opening up American jobs because she felt like these South Koreans are taking American jobs. They're in the process of being deported. And I don't think all of them are going to be deported because the Trump administration will see how incompetent this looks, because it is very incompetent for this to happen. And they will reverse course because there's going to be a lot of backlash in the public eye. See, Trump met with the South Korean leader and they made a deal. They signed a deal for South Korea to invest billions of dollars into the United States. And a part of that deal is for them to build a Hyundai facility here in the United States. And in order to do that, you need South Koreans that work at Hyundai, that engineer things in order for the plant to be operational. Because before you hire people for an assembly line, you have to build that assembly line. And as big as a manufacturing plant as Hyundai will need to be here in the United States, it's going to take some time. So it's not going to be operational until 2026. So those 450 plus people that you're trying to deport right now that are in custody, they weren't taking American jobs. They were setting up shop so that we can hire Americans to do labor. So you're actually taking away jobs. I swear, MAGA are the dumbest motherfuckers on the face of this earth.
A woman who just went online bragging about being the reason 475 people were just arrested. It didn't go the way that you thought, did it? Because the way that you were so happy to share with the world voluntarily that you were the one that contacted ICE, that got that Hyundai plant that was in the middle of being constructed completely shut down, and over 400 people arrested, most of them being Koreans, which you seemed kind of confused about until you realized that Hyundai is owned by Koreans, and that the reason they had so many people from other countries here was because they knew they were going to have to train Americans to do this job, because all of their instructions from Korea were in Korean. So they got approval to send people here to the United States to construct their massive facility in the way that you were like, now look, there's over 475 jobs that are now going to be available for people in Georgia, because they weren't giving these jobs to Georgians. That's right, they couldn't give these jobs to people in Georgia because none of them spoke the language. And her narrative of bringing 475 jobs to people in Georgia are making the world laugh, because anyone who understands that they were just constructing this facility, this was going to be a facility that would have given nearly 9,000 jobs to people in Georgia. She had zero concept of that. All she saw were people from other countries in her state, specifically in her town, and it upset her so much that she contacted ICE and said that she was doing it because they had unsafe working environments and they weren't getting paid enough. So she contacted ICE. Because of her fight for the people of Georgia, they have lost all of their people who were going to train them for the jobs that this facility would have brought. The owners of this facility, the investors, the people paying for it and bringing all of these jobs into the state of Georgia, are now threatening to can it all. That's right, they are going to shut down this construction site, and they are not going to continue building their facility that would have brought almost 9,000 jobs to her state. Would have not known any of this had she not come online and bragged about it. Oh, and she's also running for Congress.
I love how y'all say, oh, she's doubling down. She's reneging on what she said. Listen, I stand on business.
Then stand on this business, lady, especially when you're running for office. I hope your constituents know how much damage you managed to do to the state single-handedly. It's rare to be able to point to one person and say, you did all of this. As a result of you not being able to stand brown people, Korea has completely halted all major U.S. investment projects. Yup, including the $4.6 billion that was going to the state of Georgia. Your Republican governor hailed it as the single greatest foreign investment the state had ever seen. The battery factory that was slated to be completed would have provided 8,500 jobs to Georgians. That was before you got your hands on an iPhone. I mean, they sum it up pretty well here. Korean workers are treated like criminals for building factories that Washington itself lobbied for. If this continues, investment in the U.S. could be reconsidered. So I hope your potential constituents, and just the state of Georgia, moreover, realize that you single-handedly cost the state of Georgia billions of dollars worth of foreign investments and untold thousands of jobs that otherwise would have gone to Georgia residents. You think other countries are going to be stoked to invest in Georgia after seeing their people chained at the ankles like fucking animals because that's what you think they are? No. This will stick with Georgia for decades to come. It'll be much harder for y'all to attract foreign investment after this fiasco. Well done. For one MAGA, I mean, usually the damage is pretty limited, but you managed to incite a diplomatic crisis between us and one of our closest former allies. Who knows how much damage you've actually done for your own people.
She really came out to snitch, but she's still blaming Biden, like as if it was Biden that smuggled these people into this country, right? Like, I get it, like you want to report because you thought they were on the page. Are you working there? Did you see everything? Did you document everything? Or you're just trying to be snitch and doing what you usually do? You know, what MAGA usually would do, you know, is to, you know, call the cops or whoever the eyes on you and stuff like that. So I don't understand. People are saying it's giving Karen that is trying to act as if she was not in the wrong, but she was in the right. Because just like she said, she was trying to save them, you know, the savior mentality thing. She was trying to save them, and people shouldn't come at her. So guys, what do you think? Please drop your thoughts in the comment. And if this is a content you would like to be seeing, please do me the honor and hit on the subscribe button, hit on the like button, hit on the share button, and always come back for more. See you in the next one. Have a blessed day.